Hey guys, it is day 3 of overcoming overeating healthy foods. So I'll just wait for everybody to get on. Forgot my lipstick, sorry guys. Let's give it a few minutes. Clean up my desk a little bit. So if you are watching the replay and you haven't got your tea or your notebook or your pencil, you may want to go get that because we're going to start in a few minutes. Okay. I think I already sent out. So whenever you guys hop on, just let me know you're here because I can't tell who's here and who's not. So you'll have to say hi. We'll get started in a few minutes. Sorry, I just ate something, so I was trying to like swallow it. I hope you guys got lunch too. This is a good time to get your pencil, your notebook. For some reason, I like to write in pencil. I don't know. Whatever you need. And we'll start. And let's say 2 minutes. So if you need anything. Hey, Ann Turner. Okay, so Miss Ann Turner, are you the same Ann Turner that taught Anna in the 3rd grade? Like it just hit me yesterday that I think you may be one and the same. That would be Anna Doyle. You'll have to let me know. You are! That is so fun. Yeah, I was remembering that because I actually have a daughter who's in the 3rd grade right now, and it's been a little bit rough, and I was thinking back to my 3rd grade days. So we'll get started in just a few seconds. Sometimes it's hard for people to log on. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and get started, and then people can watch the replay if they don't catch the beginning. How's that? Because I don't want to waste anybody's time. Okay. So yesterday, I was eating a quick lunch because I work from home and I have a lot of things going on, right? So, hey, whoever hopped on, you'll have to tell me hi because I don't know who you are. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, Anna and I were joy. Well, I'm glad. So yesterday I was eating a quick lunch and I work from home. So sometimes I'm really good about getting things together and sometimes I'm not. And my husband's been out of town, so yeah, I just haven't been as good because I've had more things to do, right? So I have pre-cooked food in my freezer to just pop in the microwave whenever I need something quick, right? And so that's what I was doing yesterday. And this all applies to today. That's why I'm telling you this story. So anyways, I cooked all that up. I cooked up some meat from the fridge, and then I threw some broccoli into a pan just to kind of warm up. And I kind of ate it in succession of when it was finished. You know those days, right? So I ate the meat first, and then I went back for the broccoli. Okay. All of these foods were healthy, right? And I ate them in the order in which they were finished. So by the time I got to the broccoli, I got to a point where I wasn't hungry anymore, and there was like 3, pieces of broccoli left, and I chose not to eat them. I just set them aside. And then it hit me. This is what I'm talking about. So we're going to talk about overeating healthy foods, why we do it, and then what that can cause, how that can influence the body-mind connection, okay? So most of us would say, what is the problem in overeating healthy foods? When we overeat unhealthy foods, we are actually damaging that body-mind connection. We're actually damaging that satiety mechanism in our brain that says we're full. So even when we are, so that's the importance of it. So even when we're, overindulging or overeating healthy foods, it still influences us in a way that doesn't serve us. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's talk, let me give you an example. Healthy fats. Okay, so healthy fats are really good for you. Now we know, because remember back in the 80s and the 90s, that was out. And now we know that it's actually really important, especially for brain health, cognitive development, cognitive function, hormone balance, ladies. If you've ever heard that amino acids are the building blocks of protein, think back to like biology class. Healthy fats are the building blocks to hormone production, which is also influencing hormone balance, right? So it's really important that we're eating healthy fats throughout our day to help us, just function as people. One of those healthy fats that we hear a lot about is grass-fed butter. So grass-fed butter is loaded with nutrients. You've got butyric acid and you have CLA. Both of these are fatty acids that are known to reduce inflammation. Then you have vitamin A, so important for vision health. Like I said, this is all head stuff, right? And then, teeth and hair and skin and things like that as well. And then you have MCTs. MCTs are medium chain triglycerides. A lot of you have heard of bullet coffee. This is it. So MCTs actually suppress the appetite and it helps you feel fuller longer because it's a fat, and fats are slowly metabolized and absorbed and utilized, right? So it keeps you feeling full longer. So whenever you hop on, just say who you are because I don't know. We're talking about healthy fats right now. So the thing about all these healthy fats, thing about grass-fed butter, is they're really good for you. However, if you are slathering everything in grass-fed butter, it may be too much for your body. And we know that if we do eat too much, even of healthy, that it can cause, weight gain. It can cause that body-mind connection to be damaged. It can cause satiety issues where you don't know when full is really full, when enough is enough, all those kind of things. And sometimes we even load up on healthy foods until our stomach hurts, and that doesn't feel good. Like, think salad bar. I used to do this all the time at the salad bar. I'm like, it's just salad, but there's like an upper limit to how much you can consume in one setting. Like, so even if it's super healthy, like salad, there's an upper limit. And when your stomach physically hurts, you have way surpassed that limit, right? So, another one I was just thinking, red wine. That's an easy one, right? Red wine is super healthy. It's got antioxidants. It's got anti-inflammatory properties. It's good for the cardiovascular system. But we know that if you drink too much red wine, it's not good for your body. It taxes your liver. It causes weight gain. There's all kinds of things that it can do that doesn't serve you. So that's what I'm talking about today, is these healthy foods that we overconsume because they are healthy, right? Okay. So today we're going to just get like right into the journal prompts. Hey Stella, you're here. I had to look at the comments. I hope you're doing well today. I don't know if you're watching Brooks or not. Okay, so prompt 1, get out your pens and notebooks. I want you to write down all of the foods that you consider healthy that you eat. So if it's a healthy food that like you never eat, like I don't eat carrots or sweet potatoes. Like there's something about both of those things that's just like, whoa. But if I want you to write down all of the foods that you have deemed healthy, and I want you to create a list of all the foods you eat. And then we're going to share some answers here in a second. So I'll give you a few minutes. I'll make my list. And be specific if you can. Like if you write veggies, like write down the veggies that you like, the healthy veggies that you actually, not that you like, but necessarily, but the healthy veggies that you eat. And the way that I know you're done is if you comment. So if you comment and say, give me your list, or start sharing some of your thoughts if you don't mind sharing, then I can start seeing where you are on that. Okay. Does everybody have their list? Yes, no? So I'll just start sharing mine and you guys can share, just type in as you go. But basically mine, it all comes down to like salad. Anything that's like on a salad, I have a lot of fruit on the list. Why the sad face, Stacy? Can you share which fruits are on your list? I have Brooks. I'll do prompts later. Okay, Stella. Yeah, you can just listen and kind of think about it in your head. So salads is a big one for me. Whatever is on a salad. So like all the different types of veggies, I always feel for some reason that like I could eat my weight in salad and it would never like make me too full or something like that, right? Seafood. Seafood is another big kicker for me. So whether it's fish or shrimp, there's something about the lightness of seafood that makes me question whether or not it'll actually like fill me up to the point where I can overeat, and I do. Like sometimes it gets to that point where you're like right at that edge of enoughness and you're like, oh wait, that's enough. Like surprisingly, that is enough. So that's what I'm talking about here is like, what are those foods that you consider healthy, that you really enjoy? Or not that you really enjoy that you eat, because there's some foods that people, some healthy foods that people eat that they hate. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So prompt, oh, I forgot to write in the prompt for all the people that are gonna, people watch this afterwards. Let me type in the prompt one real quick, guys. What are the foods you consider healthy? Make a list. Okay. So now you're going to, prompt 2 is going to be, why are these foods healthy to you? What makes them healthy? And there's no right or wrong answer. And strawberries, cantaloupe, oranges, apples, carrots, tomatoes, zucchini. Yeah, it sounds like the farm stand. I love it. I'm on board with everything except for the carrots. That's a good list. Okay, prompt 2. Why are these foods healthy to you? What makes them healthy? So you're going to go through your list, and if you want to be really specific and go through like each one, because like for example, I find seafood healthy for a different reason than I find like, let's say, broccoli. And I'm only using broccoli because I eat it quite a bit. Oh, you made it. Hey, Alicia. You've been busy today, girl. I'm glad you're here. So you can totally catch up. The prompt one is, what are the foods you consider healthy? Make a list. And then the second prompt is, why are these foods healthy to you? So like I was just saying, you can be really specific. So like fish and like shrimp and all that to me feels like a different healthiness than, or different reasons why I feel like it's healthy than like, let's say, vegetables. So busy, you have no idea. Yeah. And then if you're confused or you're getting hung up on it, Stacy, banana, tuna, eggs, broccoli are more for my mental health. Yeah, isn't it interesting how you connect those two dots? For like whatever reason, you just feel like that's really important for your mental health. That's awesome, Stacy. Have you ever thought about that before? Um, oh yeah, and then I was looking at my prompts. And then just if you're having troubles trying to figure it out, just keep asking yourself why. So like if you say it's healthy because um, it's low in fat or whatever you come up with, or it feels light. Um, Ask yourself why. Why does low fat mean healthy? Or whatever it is, or why does light mean healthy? That kind of thing. Stacy, so for you, I'm trying to be quiet because people are like working. But Stacy, so for you, it'd be like, why? Why are these foods good for my mental health? Why do I feel like these are really good foods for my mental health? I'll give you guys a second. So prompt. Okay, so let's look at these now that we've got, a few people commenting. So why are these foods, prompt two for anybody who's just like tuning in, it's why are these foods healthy to you? What makes them healthy? So Stacy said that some of these foods help her feel mentally less foggy, like a little bit more better. Is it mental acuity as well, or is it just it makes you like actually feel good? Like you said, my mood is low and depressed. You crave these foods. So these foods are nourishing your brain, right? There's something about this that feels nourishing to you. So that's what makes them healthy to you. Stella, it makes me feel good, not so sluggish. Yeah. So these healthier foods, like whatever you deem healthy, may be the foods that actually really serve you because they're the foods that are making you have the most, or allowing yourself to have the most energy, right? So you feel like you literally, your body feels better. Does that make sense? And they are filling and stay with me during the day. And fruits help with my sweet tooth. Yes. Fruits, that's a really big one. And like for me, when I think about fruits or I think about vegetables, I always think about them as healthy in the terms of that they are loaded with nutrients and antioxidants. And that is so good for your body, right? But it's also kind of, sorry, I keep moving and my thing keeps trying to adjust to me. I talk too much with my hands. It also comes down to the American way, right? If one is better, if one is good, two is better. More is always better, right? So when we're thinking about healthy foods in the terms of the fact that, like, it's really good for you, and it keeps you feeling full, it keeps you with a lot of energy, has a ton of nutrients, that's really good for your body, all of those things, and that like if one is good, 2 is better. So it makes you think that it's okay to like really load up. And then we damage, like I said, that mind-body connection when we overeat on those healthy foods. So prompt 3, I want you to go through and talk about which foods do you on your list. So go back to your list, copy, paste. Which foods do you truly enjoy on that list? Which of these foods do you not enjoy and why? And I have that on here because there are so many times people will eat healthy foods that they hate. And I really wanted to look at that a little bit closer and figure out, why are we eating foods that we don't enjoy just because they're healthy? Because that is almost the same thing as overeating healthy foods. Makes sense? Very similar. So I'll give you guys a few more minutes. Alicia, don't worry. You can do this. Take a big deep breath. So when you've come up with your list, just comment below. I'll give you like 1 more minute, guys. That's funny, Alicia. Yeah. So yogurt is super healthy for people that are not lactose intolerant or allergic to casein. It's super healthy. Lots of probiotics, lots of nutrients. But if you do not enjoy it, yeah, it's not healthy for you. Because here's the thing, guys. This is what I want you to make the connection to. Healthy can be healthy for the body, and healthy can be healthy for you, like healthy for your person. And eating a healthy food just because it's healthy, and a food that you really dislike, is not helping your relationship to food at all. It's actually damaging your relationship to food, okay? Because it's making you think that you have to eat something that you don't want to eat, and it's right up there with you know, following a meal plan that's like made just for one person. I mean, made for one person that everybody has to follow. It doesn't feel good to you, right? Is it strange that I don't eat what I don't enjoy? No, not at all, Stacy. But I do think that it takes time. I think there's a lot of people out there that when they're on traditional style dieting, if they're doing, like a Weight Watchers, or if they're doing like counting points or things like that, they're really sticking to what's deemed healthy by other people, they eat foods that they don't enjoy, and it doesn't last. Like those will not last. Like you will not last on those diets if you're eating things you don't like, if you don't enjoy. So I think that's great. I think it's fantastic that you've gotten to the point where you don't eat anything that you don't like. For like my list kind of goes in and out. There's some healthy foods that I enjoy, and then I'll eat them a lot. Like I'm like my 8-year-old. My 8-year-old will eat the exact same foods for like 3 months, and then all of a sudden she'll say, oh yeah, I don't eat that anymore. I'm like, well, of course you don't. You've been eating it for like 3 months. Who would want to eat that any longer than that? And I'm talking like every single day for 3 months. And I kind of get into that as well. So like right now, yogurt is not on my list. I don't mind it, but I'm not enjoying it. Salmon, I'm a little burned out, so we're doing other things. Like my 8-year-old does the same thing. Yeah, Alicia, there's a lot of kids that go through some weird phases, and you just kind of have to roll with it. Like right now, she's eating raw broccoli, and that's another thing. There's also like ways to prepare it. There are things that we really love, and then there are things that we don't. I will eat roasted broccoli. I will eat steamed broccoli, cooked broccoli, but never will I ever eat raw. And she loves it. So it all comes down to what works best for you. So oh yeah, and prompt 3, did I put that on there? Which foods? Oh, okay. I misnumbered these prompts. So the next prompt is prompt 4, but I misnumbered them. Which healthy foods do you eat frequently? Or you overeat frequently, sorry. So now you're gonna go through your list, and you're gonna put down all of the foods that you frequently overeat. All of those healthy foods that you frequently overeat. And then you're gonna write down, when do you eat them? Like when does that typically happen? And why do you eat those particular foods? That's kind of a long prompt. Sorry, it's prompt 4. It's got like a 3-part prompt. That's why I wanted to get into this journaling quicker today. So prompt 4, which healthy foods do you frequently overeat? When do you usually overeat on these healthy foods? Like what's happening? Is it, when I'm stressed out? Is it because of breakfast? Whatever it is. Sorry, I had to come into focus again. And then why do you eat these foods? Why these foods? Okay. I'll give you guys like 5 minutes, because this one's kind of a big prompt. And if you have a question, just comment, and I'll see if I can't better explain something for you. Okay, Ian, have fun picking up your grandson. Yeah, just watch the replay. All right, guys, let me know when you've come up with your answers for this. Alicia, I often overeat cauliflowers, probably because my favorite veg, but if I eat too much, it causes, yes. Cauliflower is in the cruciferous family and can cause bloating, gas, all kinds of digestive upset. If I'm trying to be good, I will try to eat more veg, and it always ends up being cauliflower, and I overload. How are you preparing your cauliflower, by the way? I'm just curious. Stella, I don't usually overeat the healthy foods. It's the junk food like chips and salsa at the restaurants. Yeah, that one gets everybody. Stella's one of my clients. We'll work on that, Stella. I'm going to make a mental note right now. Because that's hard when it's like staring at you in the face. So while you guys are finishing up yours, I'm going to go ahead and go over this list. And I'm going to give you this list. Mostly I eat it raw with a little bit of ranch. It doesn't seem to bother me too much if the cauliflower is cooked. Interesting. Yeah, because so when you cook cauliflower, if you've ever been in a kitchen where it's cooking, you'll notice this. It's a chemical reaction happening, right? And you will smell kind of like, my husband hates it, but that cauliflowery smell, that cruciferous smell. And yeah, that's some of it being released. So you're not going to have so much of that in you that's causing that digestive upset. Stacy, I think it would be broccoli and tuna. Usually around the time I have period, when my mood really drops, it's the point where I feel suicidal due to hormones. Poor Stacy. This is something I noticed while in therapy and has been going on since my period started. Eggs and bacon, I guess because I'm in the routine of having a cooked breakfast. Maybe because I don't have much breakfast choices. Lactose intolerant, soy doesn't taste good warm, and I don't like the alternatives. Yeah, so Stacy, I'm treading lightly because this is not my domain. However, the reason that you could be craving tuna in and around your period time is because of the hormonal fluctuations. Tuna has omega-3 fatty acids, so it has EPA and DHA. EPA and DHA, this is like not what I was going to talk about, but I had to talk about it. So EPA and DHA influence your brain health. And there have been studies that show that fish oil specifically can improve your, not your, but some depressive like symptoms. Like, so there's been studies, and Stella and I were talking about this the other day. There have been studies that show that some people can actually get off of antidepressants when they supplement with fish oil, because the brain needs a tremendous amount of EPA and DHA to function at optimal levels. And so that may be like your body's craving tuna right before. It may be because, or during, it may be because your body wants those nutrients. So you may want to talk to your doctor about supplementing with fish oil. And I say talk to them because fish oil is a little bit quirky, and you have to be really careful with the different medications that you're taking for that. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. And I'm really sorry that you have to go through that, because that's really stinky. That just is really hard. So sorry, Stacy, I really am. The mental health and diet connection is what I want to study in my PhD program, if that ever happens. Alicia, I think that would be amazing. And if that's the case, then I need to learn a lot from you. Because that would be some really amazing research. Like I was in research and development for a very long time when I worked in the corporate world. And I mean, my job was like reading scientific literature. So that I think would be one of the coolest projects ever. So going back to, because we got on a little tangent, and that's happens sometimes, and that's okay. But I wanted to go back to my example for healthy eating. I read that sort of stuff for fun. Yes, I know, I read stuff like that for fun. I'm such a nutrition dork. Okay, so when we were talking about which healthy foods we frequently overeat, when do you usually do that? Why do you eat these particular foods? So I wanted to take you through like my thought process and how this whole like why get to the root cause thing, how it works. So for example, I said that, salad is one of those things that I can now set aside if I'm, full or if I've had enough. But before it was really hard for me to do that. And I would literally eat salad until my stomach hurt, which is really weird, right? So healthy foods like salad, when I asked myself that question, like what was going on? And it always came down to when I've been eating poorly, I would make up for it with salad. So if it's just been a rough week and like, maybe I had pizza with the kids, and then my husband and I went, like the other day when I put that post about Torchy's tacos, and then we had pizza for dinner. That would have triggered me into overeating healthy foods as a way to make up for the lack of nutrients I had before. And I said, when was this happening? When I was eating poorly. Why? Why did I do this when I was eating poorly? Because I wanted to make up for the lack of nutrients. Why do you feel like you need to make up for the lack of nutrients? To get back on track. So where does that go to? Like, what does that stem from? I'm getting back on track by overeating. And the question is that serving me? Well, absolutely not, right? And our logical brain tells us that. But that's the steps. Like that's the work that you put into it when you're trying to figure this stuff out. So we've been talking about all these different, themes and these prompts for overeating, but that's what it comes down to. It's the why. Okay, so why do I feel like I have to make the lack of nutrients? Why do I feel like I have to get back on track? Am I really getting back on track if I'm overeating? That's the kind of stuff that you ask yourself to get to the bottom of it. Does that make sense? I could never eat salad again and be perfectly fine with that. I do the same thing though, usually with cauliflower. Yeah. So it's the same thing. We're like, these have a lot of nutrients. I need to fill that nutritional store, and I need to make up for all the things that I've done poorly. And that's not how it works. We just get right back on track, right? We just, we may eat a salad, but we only eat the part that's enough. And the reason it's so important is because we want to support the body-mind connection. We want to make sure that we are not damaging that little teeny tiny mechanism in our brain that tells us we've had enough. And every single time we overeat, regardless if it's healthy or if it's, like Stella was saying, chips or salsa, we're going to be damaging that part of us. And that's the part that we're trying to heal. That's the part that we're trying to heal. Because we're still looking at food as good and bad. We're trying to make up for being bad by being extra good. Yes, that is good and bad thinking. And that's one of the things that mechanism is already damaged in mine. Okay, but here's the thing. I overate for a long time. And I have it now. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Alicia. I have it now. So it's possible. It's absolutely possible to get that back. And I think sometimes we think that as adults it's been ruined in us, but it hasn't. It's just a little like faulty, but you can heal that piece of you and you can get back on track with that. And yeah, it goes with good or bad. Alicia, you totally nailed it. You know, when we think of salad being good and we think of pizza and tacos as being bad, and we're making up for something, we're making up for our bad behavior, that's not serving us. I don't remember a time in my life when it worked properly. Yeah, so okay, I will admit, there are like one or two conditions where it is actually compromised. Prater Willis is one of the ones I'm thinking of right now, where you literally don't have that piece of you, and that. But those are individuals where when you have children with that disease, you literally have to like lock cabinets up and things like that. So that's not what we're talking about. The majority of us, even if you don't feel like you ever had it, because remember, Alicia, I was an overweight kid. So for me to say that, you know, I don't think I've ever had it, or for you to say that you don't think you've ever had it, yeah, I didn't have it when I was a kid, when most kids do, and I got it back as an adult. So it's totally possible to heal it. And because I work with mamas a lot, if you're a mama and your kid says, like, oh, I'm not really hungry tonight, and they eat 2 bites of dinner and that's all they have, that is okay. The one thing that we cannot do is push them to eat past what feels good for their bodies. I don't think it's a physical condition, it's totally habit. Yeah, we all have it. But the thing is, we have to learn to listen to it. So that's like part of what I do when I work with my clients is we learn to listen for that little teeny tiny voice inside of us. And it takes time, and it takes effort. Like you have to actually deliberately look for it. So that's just one of those things that we have to do. So prompt 5. We're going to do one more prompt, okay, guys? So I'm going to put this on here. Prompt 5. So I want you to put, we haven't talked about this yet, but it's day 3. What are the feelings that bubble up when you overeat? Do you feel satisfied? Do you feel unsatisfied even if you're eating large quantities? When you think of the term like small portion, what bubbles up? So I want you to start thinking about like overeating and how does that feel to you? How does enough feel? Like how would it feel if you stopped at enough? Like that's the kind of stuff I wanted you guys to start thinking about. So prompt 5, if you are doing the replay, is what are the feelings that bubble up when you overeat? Okay. I'll give you guys a few minutes. Alicia, are you feeling that empty feeling during the food, like while you're eating, or is this after? Like while you're actually physically overeating? Just the food is a way to numb the feeling of lack. Like I'm literally trying to feel full with food. Yeah. So let's talk about that. Alicia, I would say what is lacking? You know what I mean? It's a way to numb that feeling of lack. What are you lacking? Stacy, I don't stop until I feel satisfied unless I've been having sleeping problems and then I can eat but not feel full. The other is comfort eating when bored, stressed, when I pretty much just graze. Yeah. So Stacy, when you say I don't stop until I feel satisfied, what is satisfied to you? What does satisfied mean to you? Does that mean like, you know, physically like almost full to the point where you're like unbuttoning pants, or like what is that for you? Like that's what I would look at. Like what does satisfied mean to Stacy? That's what I would think. And Alicia, like everything that we've talked about this week, it all comes back to the lack and the not enoughness. And the thing is, you're a very accomplished person, Miss Alicia. So I would start really looking into like where these feelings of lack are coming from. They're coming from somewhere, and it's manifesting into food. But you were feeling that before you started overeating. Am I correct? It's the not enoughness that's driving you into that. Like, I'm not enough, so I might as well just say screw it and eat the cheeseburger or whatever it is, right? It's like, I'm not enough and I can't do this either. Like, just add it to the list of the things that I can't do, right? Or am I wrong? That's what I feel like for you. I don't know. So I'll share mine because I know that people will be watching the replay too, and that's exactly right. Yeah. See, that's what I feel for you. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like if I can't do this right, and like this has like X has nothing to do with the food, then it's like, oh, screw it. Like I can't do anything right. I'll just at least I'll enjoy myself and go eat, something I enjoy. Stacy, only way I can explain it is I'm not hungry. My stomach feels full and I don't feel like nauseous or anything. Okay. So maybe satisfied, say what I was trying to figure out is if that little like mechanism, the satiety mechanism was still on board for you. And it might be. The sleeping problems cause you to eat, but you never feel full. Yeah, so sleeping problems are a big thing because when we lack sleep, our body wants energy. Like it needs energy in the form of rest because we need sleep, but it doesn't know how to ask for it. So sometimes it will ask for food, and we'll just keep we'll end up overeating because we're chronically exhausted, and our bodies are like searching energy. I need energy. And then we end up overeating. This happens a lot for people who work shift work too. It kind of throws the body off on that. So for mine, it really comes down to guilt. It really comes down to those guilty feelings. When I'm overeating, I'm feeling guilty. And the reason I'm feeling guilty is because number one, I know better, right? Like I've got a degree in this. Alicia, you may feel me on this one, because when you know better, you should do better. And that's what it always comes down to is I shouldn't be eating like this. I know better. I know better than this. And the truth is that this is far and few between for me now. I very, 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 very rarely overeat, and it's because I've gotten those triggers under control. I know what those triggers are. Yep, I know better. And I've got those triggers under control. There's also another component of that, and it's called grace. Grace that you don't have to be perfect. There is no need to be perfect because none of us are, right? So it's this idea that we all have to allow ourselves the grace to deviate from this perfect idea of what we should be eating, right? This is like the healthy plan. And if we deviate it, if we're on it, we're good. And if we're off, we're bad. And we have to shift that and reframe that mentality, or we're going to continue to overeat. It's just like that cycle that I was talking about when I was talking about how if I felt bad about eating, not bad, but you know what I mean, if I felt bad about overeating pizza and tacos and cheeseburgers and all that, and I need to make up for it with the salad, but I ended up overeating the healthy food to make up for the bad. Like, it's a never-ending cycle, right? It's a really bad cycle to get into. And that's what we have to break. And the way you break that is with grace. It's with permission to allow yourself not to be perfect, to allow yourself to deviate, to allow yourself not to be deprived. So that's what we were talking about the very first day, cravings, the second day, indulgences, not depriving ourselves. And today when we were talking about, healthy eating, even on those healthy foods, self-compassion, yeah. Even on those healthy foods, we can't overeat because it will ruin our body-mind connection. It will damage that body-mind connection. And the stronger, the healthier that body-mind connection is, the easier it is for you to be able to control what you're eating and stop when you've had enough. It's one of those things that you have to do both. You have to reset and rewire the brain, and you have to reset your gut. You have to reset your body so that the gut brain and the head brain can communicate really well with each other. So that is the message for today. Do you guys have any questions, like on anything? I'll go ahead and answer anything. My tea. I'll give you a second if you need to type. Yes, Alicia, and that self-compassion stuff. That's why part of my program, we work on self-love and self-care and self-acceptance and self-compassion, because that's a huge piece of it. Huge. Food is not about food. As crazy as that sounds, food is not about food at all. Okay, guys, if you guys don't have any questions, self-love is the root of everything. That's my program. Yes. I want to see that program someday. I do. Because I think that would be awesome. All right, guys. So you guys have a good day. I'm going to send out the nutrition bonus at 5. So if you're watching this replay and you're not on that email list, let me know and I will get you on it. I'm working on it. Yeah, I know. You have to show. I want to see. I want in. I want in on that, Alicia. So the nutrition bonus, there's some really great stuff in there. I'll send it out tonight. I'll send it out at 5. If you are not on the list, if you're watching this as a replay, get to me before 5 p.m. Central, and I'll make sure that you're on the list to receive the bonuses. And that is it. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks for all the emojis. Bye, guys.